everybody. It is Friday, April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. 2022 AD, Anno Domini. And it is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show. I do not have any April Fool's tricks or jokes for you, at least not that I am aware of yet. And some announcements. You know, I'm going to be on Modern Day Debate today. It is Friday. Catch Hake on Modern Day Debate after Nick's stream, or perhaps after Nick's stream goes for 2 hours. Nick's stream, 4 p.m. Pacific on Nick's Stream YouTube channel. That's Anchor Baby, the Anchor Baby's new show. It's called Nick's Stream. And, of course, The Fallen State before that. So lots of stuff going on. And, of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, always excellent. But today on Hake, I shall talk about trans kids. Give me a break. These people don't care about children. They are so evil. Mama spirit protects the evil in the kids, the evil that they have put into the kids, or advocate for putting into the kids, and kills the kids in the process. So wrong. The gay agenda. And I'm going to talk about a little throwback of Will Smith and also of his so-called wife, Jada. She is, what a messed up family. Let's just say that, right? Terrible stuff. And, you know, this black female alopecia, victimhood. Ridiculous. And more affirmative action type stuff. So, and of course, your calls, you can call in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this AJ Gallardo original theme song for the Hake Report. I know I do. And shout out to Trevor Wesley for the version Monday through Thursday. And you guys will hopefully enjoy this show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Is it okay for me to breathe through my mouth between talking? I am wearing a t-shirt that reads, Established 1492, Christopher Columbus was a hero. Where is he now? I assume that he is dead. Rest in peace. But this is not a Hake t-shirt, okay? I got this from theredelephants.com. And is theredelephants.com now defunct? That is Vincent James's website. He also now has Daily Veracity. Let me just type it in. dailyveracity.com, right? .com? Yeah, theredelephants.com. Not working. Let me try just redelephants.com. And, okay, dailyveracity.com. Shop is coming soon, so perhaps this will be available in the future. But I was an early adopter. And so you can't get this limited edition Christopher Columbus was a hero t-shirt. I thought I would wear this for my Modern Day Debate appearance. I was wearing this when I was all dressed up and ready to debate against Hunter Avallone that one fateful day in, I don't know when that was. Saturday afternoon around 3 p.m. I got this Twitter DM direct message. Hey, do you want to debate your brother Hunter Avallone about whether systematic racism exists? I said, sure. How about 4 p.m. or whatever? Sure. So I show up in this t-shirt, and then I'm talking with James Kuntz, and then, Hunter can't make it after all. But perhaps in the future I will be talking with him. But shout out to Modern Day Debate. I will be on Modern Day Debate talking about, is the Great Reset real versus Stardust? Is Stardust going to be offended by my shirt? I don't think so. She is a thick-skinned and sensible young lady, I think, right? I assume. I watched a video of hers, and she seemed reasonable and cool. Nice, right? We'll see. Is she a American Indian? I hate Stardust, says Danny's. How do you guys know these people? My first introduction to her was Modern Day Debate saying, hey, you want to debate your sister Stardust? And I said, sure. Very cool. I will get to your super chats, guys. I do see them. And I will get to your calls as well. But let me tell you about the people who are behind this Great Reset thing, or, the type of people who would support this liberal, take care of the poor, fake, protect the victim class type people. Goofy Beto O'Rourke, who's from Texas. He tried to run for Senate, the U.S. Senate, against Ted Cruz. Had all this support from like Hollywood and all these degenerate people. Beto, Robert something Francis O'Rourke. O'Rourke, by the way, is an Irish name, I believe. But this guy tweeted a picture of himself, and you may have seen it at the beginning of this show stream, wearing a T-shirt with a Texas flag and state motif, right? The state of Texas, you know how that has a distinctive shape. The state of geographical boundary of Texas makes it into like this upside-down, dinosaur-looking, interesting thing. Texas. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks it looks like an upside-down dinosaur. But he's wearing this T-shirt, and he's so casual and cool. So Gen X. He rides skateboards. Beto. And it says, instead of don't mess with Texas, because that's a common line with Texas, it reads, don't mess with trans kids. And he tweeted this out yesterday, apparently. March 31st, in the morning. And he's like puffing out his chest. He's pretty skinny. He might be slimmer than I am. Might be taller, who knows? Politicians, oftentimes who have any success, oftentimes they're tall. But anyway, this guy with the Lone Star State in Texas, don't mess with trans kids. So this guy is purporting to be a champion of so-called trans kids. In other words, he's for the transgender, not for the kids, though. Because he's not. What an evil person, huh? So there were I saw under this tweet, I just happened across it this morning. Under this tweet, the trendy, quote-unquote, conservative, blue checkmark people, they told him to brush his teeth. Because if you look closely at his teeth, they're, a little bit yellowish. I think my teeth are probably like that. Maybe even worse than his. A lot of people do this teeth whitening thing. Maybe I should do that. But and also his teeth are kind of crooked. He has this toothy, easy grin that he's wearing, right? With his crooked teeth off center, a little yellowish. So they're saying, oh, you need a dentist. Brush your teeth. Can you show his teeth one more time? I'm just curious. Is it fair criticism? But I mean, come on. How about attack the fact that I like mocking people. Yeah, it's an interesting, looks slightly off center from, I don't know. They seem to be waving one way. But he has a pleasant face, but he's an evil person. He's the one who said, heck yes. Only he didn't say heck, he said H-E double toothpicks. He said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. So this guy's a dumb beta punk rock lame guy. Trendy, though. Not punk, but trendy. But he's dumb. And okay, I have more for you, because somebody in the replies on this tweet, He's dying inside, says Ivana. Yeah, fair point. Some guy replied, hang with Holly. That's the name of Hawlie. He replied, if you missed it last year, Beto testified against the anti-trans bill. And it wasn't anti-trans. It was against the so-called transgenders competing in girls' sports. So, you know, all the phony politicians, all the phony Republican politicians are like, oh, we want to protect girls' sports. Not, these people need to be institutionalized. They should not be doing this in public. It's public indecency. No, they can do all they want. They can push their mess, but they just can't invade women's sports. We want to protect girls. Dumb. So Beto testified against this bill, SB 29, in Texas Senate last spring. And here's 2 minutes and 17 seconds of his phoniness. Listen and enjoy, or not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to you and the committee, good afternoon, and thank you for receiving my testimony. My name is Beto O'Rourke. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I stand before you in opposition to SB 29. I have been so impressed today, listening as all of you have been to those who've come to testify, both for and against this bill, and I've learned a lot. But what struck me the most has been the grace and the patience and the generosity, especially of the parents of transgender children and those transgender children themselves, in helping all of us to understand what their lives are like. And I know that has to move you because it definitely moved me. I also appreciated hearing from the representative from Dell who described the economic impact this would have on our state. And it's hard to think of a more important Texas economic development and job success story than Dell Computers. And understanding that this could imperil that kind of success is something that I took note of. I also think about the constitutional questions that a bill like this one poses of equal treatment to all of us as Americans under the law. I took note of the public health evidence given, the rise in depression and anxiety and suicide by those children who are discriminated against by bills like this one. But what got me more than anything else was the moral question that is before us. And listening to Charlie Apple, who said, sports saved my life. That really got me. I had to get you too. Those of you who are parents, Amy and I are raising a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I was thinking about my kids when I was listening to Charlie Apple. And so let me conclude with this. You're good people. You're public servants. You ran for office and you're sitting and serving here because you want to help people. You don't want to hurt people. And it could not have been your intent, including the author of this bill, to hurt anybody. But now that you know it will hurt people, I hope that you will withdraw this bill. And if it should move forward, that those of you who are on this committee and are listening to those who've testified today will oppose it. Thank you very much.
What a sicko. What a total phony, huh? Talking about the grace, patience, and generosity of parents of trans kids who failed their children, and the so-called transgenders themselves who are lost. And then he's talking about he says it so nicely about the loss of jobs and economic development because Dell Computers, I guess, is for the gay trans agenda. And so they hate children, and they want to push that down Texas's throat. What sickos. And he couches it in these terms like, oh, we wouldn't want to lose these beautiful jobs that we have from Dell Computers. And then he blamed the depression, anxiety, and suicide on bills and laws that discriminate against these transgenders, as if that's what's causing them to be so messed up. What caused them to be so messed up is the fact that they're messed up, you know? Duh. And he's talking about the moral question. Oh, sports saved my life. Said some Charlie Apple, whom I never heard of. But these are sick people. What a phony, huh? And with his fake earnestness and his fake humility. What a sicko, huh? And he's such a joke and such a poser and a clown in general. Nobody's falling for it. I mean, of course, the female-minded people fall for it, I guess. But the Texas Tribune reported back in I guess this was a year ago, right? Texas Senate bill dictating which schools, sports, teams transgender children can join misses the House deadline. Democrat lawmakers waved transgender pride flags on the chamber floor. Talk about a disgusting display, huh? And they're wolves in sheep's clothing going after the children. Sick, huh? After the Senate Bill 29 missed the deadline for the House to pass all the bills from the upper chamber. Whatever, huh? So wrong. By the way, speaking of the gay agenda, just a side note, I played... Actually, can you pull up that clip from 2 days ago with that creepy smile guy from Sons of Anarchy, Ron Perlman? I played this cringy guy's video a couple days ago with his little video message to... That was Texas, right? Beto, so evil in Texas. Well, here is this Hollywood purported, not Christian, actor Ron Perlman running his big, ugly mouth. Sorry, kids. Running his big mouth and jowly face, pretending to be all sweet and friendly and professional, and then starting to cuss. He was star of the Sons of Anarchy, which was supposedly based off of a Shakespearean thing. It might have been off of Hamlet. Would Hamlet make sense? Somebody told me it was Hamlet rather than Othello, which is like a classic. If you took high school English, you might have heard of it. But shout out to whichever Kalkidas who told me about that on Twitter. But here's Ron Perlman addressing Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, that did that so-called Don't Say Gay bill, parental rights in education. Because they're trying to turn the children, transgender or non-binary or whatever, out from underneath the noses of the parents. I mean, if you're sending your parents to public schools, shame on you. But this is adding evil on top of evil. So listen to Ron Perlman run his big dumb mouth. Sorry, kids. Here it is.
Good morning, Governor DeSantis. Ron here.
Quiet.
Don't say gay. Don't say as the first two words in a sentence spoken by a political leader of a state.
I don't think he said that.
In the United States of America, don't say. Don't f***ing say, you f***ing Nazi pig.
Terrible.
Say. First Amendment. Read about it. Then run for office. You piece of shit.
Okay, boomer. I love boomers, though. I love boomers. But this guy's a boomer. And I don't think that come to think of it, I don't think Ron DeSantis said, don't say gay. The only people saying don't say gay are people like me and real Vincent James who just repeat what the mainstream media has been calling it. The liberals have been calling it. But I don't think that that's what he said. I don't think he ever said it's don't say gay, because it is the parental rights in education bill. And it's true. We should not, it is, as the Bible says, it is shameful even to repeat what the wicked do in darkness or in secret. It is shameful even to repeat that stuff. But you have these sickos repeating stuff that Trump said behind closed doors, grab him by the blah. You never heard Trump, from 2016 on, you never heard Trump talk like that in public. And even back in 2005 when he said it, it was not in public. It was in private, just joking around with his Billy Bush buddy. But these people repeat disgusting things and repeat disgusting accusations and push this stuff on kids as though it's fine. What a sick person. Misguided dummy. The word gay isn't even in the bill, says Big Bump. Yeah, and, the sponsor of this bill told, this parental rights and education bill, said, what should educators and staff members say if a student comes up and asks them about, LGBT stuff? And the sponsor of this bill, or the author of this bill, this Florida state bill, said, it should be ask your mother. Well, I disagree with that, Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. sponsor of this bill, I don't think they should ask their mother, should ask their father, because the mothers are participating more frequently, I dare say, this is my impression, in the gayizing of the kids, if that's a word. The transgenderizing of the kids. They take them to they're more frequently taking them to the, the libraries where they're doing the transgender drag queen story hour mess and all that stuff. So, no. And speaking of females, let me tell you one more quick story before I get to calls. This is, with this Will Smith thing. Will Smith slapped another black at the Academy Awards or Oscars, whatever you call it. And it was over his wife, who allegedly has alopecia, so she shaves her head. And she loves it. She doesn't give two craps, sorry kids, about what anybody has to say. But allegedly she was angry about it when Chris Rock, the comedian, joked about it on stage. And so Will Smith walked up and slapped him. But since that was in the news, this wife of Will Smith, so-called wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, Pinkett's her maiden name, this was making the rounds on Twitter from Hard Hat Ludwig. This is a clip 14. It's from Red Table Talk. Red Table Talk is a talk show hosted by this Jada Smith woman and her daughter, Will Smith's daughter and hers, and Jada's mother, who's somehow still over-involved in her life. So you'll hear this Jada Smith woman. This is a clip from June of 2018. We might have covered it back then. 2018, like 4 years ago almost. Red Table Talk is a show that's hosted on, correct me if I'm wrong, Facebook Live, I think. Facebook was trying to promote, we have TV shows. So this is a Facebook exclusive TV show, supposedly. And Jada Smith talks about self-blanking. And I have bleeps in this, but she's not cussing, but it's just so dirty that I had to bleep it, guys. So children, you might want to cover your ears anyway. And then this Hard Hat Ludwig says, this narcissistic feminist / trans ideology isn't just aimed at grooming kids. It has intentions to destabilize marriages as well as the nuclear family, meaning father, mother, married with children. Pay attention, says Hard Hat Ludwig, whom I hadn't heard of before, but I think he makes a fair point. Short 19-second clip. Listen to Jada talk her mess with these ladies, some old, some young. Horrific.
My grandmother taught me about self-pleasuring because she wanted me to know that was from me.
Exactly.
She didn't want me to fall into the hands of a man, and if he gave me to think that was him. Yeah. And she taught me at 9.
Isn't that sick? Horrific. I don't know who that fourth young woman is, or girl, whatever. Talk about child abuse. So that made all the headlines, or a bunch of, the gossip magazine headlines. No, that woman beside her, I know that's her mom. I'm talking about the white-looking girl with the smiley face and all bright-eyed. Yeah. So her grandmother, man, you got to cut Jada Smith, who's 50 years old and should know better by now, but she has a messed up husband who's a simp, in my opinion. Sorry, Will. Is that unfair to call him a simp? Simp. Man, if that's true, what she claims, at age 9 years old, her grandmother is teaching her this mess. Man, that's terrible. So no wonder she's so messed up. I mean, among many other things, right? People add issues on issues on issues. So sick, huh? And Will Smith's and Jada Smith's children are kind of a mess. So wrong. And she's bragging about it like she doesn't realize that there's something wrong with it. Talking about, that bleep, because I don't want to repeat it. It's just so dirty. It's such a dirty word. coming out of her mouth. Do you guys know what word I bleeped? Cover your ears, kids. I don't want to say it. But she's talking about, oh, that comes from me. And she's pointing to her body. Reminds me of what Jesse Lee Peterson was talking about, before I get to calls, with the Catholic guy on churchmilitant.com, about your body is not you, but this woman thinks her body is her. What an ego, huh? What a misguided ego. And she's all talking about, oh, I gave myself this pleasure. And that didn't come from a man. I don't need no man, said her light-skinned, black-spirited self. Yeah, it was pleasure. M.R. Jennings. Yeah, I bleeped bleep. Because it's just so dirty. Sorry, kids. But that's so sick, huh? And parents, apologies, I guess. Anyway, let me do this. C-Sal is so lost. What are we talking about? Yeah, I'll tell you when you're older, C-Sal. Let me get to David in England. David in England, thank you for holding. What's up? Are you there? Going once. Let me put David on hold. I don't want to hang up on him. Let me try Chad in Dominican Republic. Chad in DR, how are you doing?
Amazing. How you doing, brother?
Fine, sir. Nice.
I wanted to, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I heard you mention briefly those mass graves of Indians in Canada, and I have a bit of insight on that.
Okay,
my
great.
Mother's native.
Your mother is so-called native, you said?
Yeah,
okay.
But she doesn't really look native herself. And then me, I probably look more like you than anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I grew up around the natives, and I just the amount of like the chip on their shoulder just really keeps them down. And there was actually another shooting in a native community near me again, and I'm looking at the comments online, and it's like it's still just excusing their actions because of colonism this, and if only you knew how bad it was, and these mass graves. And I just wanted to talk about those mass graves, like.
And so when you say native, you're talking about the American Indians up in Canada?
Yeah, those natives.
Okay.
The other natives.
I mean, we're native. I don't like the word native because if you're born here in America as an American citizen, or you're born in Canada as a Canadian citizen, you're native. But I know what you mean by native. I just wanted to voice.
For the sake of
I couldn't help.
I'll
Go
just
ahead.
Call them what they are.
Call them whatever you like. What'd you say?
Burners.
Wagon burners?
Anyway. Yeah.
I hadn't heard that one.
So, it's funny. So a lot of these mass graves, they cry so much about they're unmarked. Well, like, do you think anybody could afford a headstone at the turn of the century? Like, think about it, man. How long is a wooden cross going to last? And most of these deaths happen around 1918. What happened around 1918? You know, the freaking flu came through.
Oh yeah.
And lots of these native communities, especially way up in the north, they would bring their sick kids to the missionaries and be like, "Please do something about my sick kid." You know.
Wow.
So a lot of these residential schools, so-called residential schools, and so-called missionaries were some people's last hope at trying to save their children. And it's like, sorry, you can't save your kid. You know, let's staple two pieces of wood together, put them out back, and have a nice little Christian burial for them.
Yeah.
And now 100 years later, they're crying about these mass unmarked graves. They're crying for reparations, and that's something I wanted to warn all your viewers about. Is it's the only group in history that got the reparations, and it still isn't enough. It's never going to be enough. So never give anybody reparations. Never apologize to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't tell that is so interesting. Because I never knew what I'm like. I know that these Catholic schools weren't killing kids. Give me a break. But
I know, man. How could anybody think that these people go into this line of work to just all I want to do is cause harm. All I want to do is kill kids and bury them out back. Just it's what happens when you're full of hate. You think everybody is full of hate just like you, and you attribute hate to people when it's really just yourself. I grew up amongst them, and they cry so much about racism.
Yeah,
and they were so racist that they ostracized my mother because she went with a white man.
Yeah, so you're half white, or at least half
white. Yeah, on paper I'm half, but if you look at me, you can tell I'm definitely not half.
You're more than half?
So no, less than half, thank God.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to warn your viewers, never give reparations, never apologize, because it's never going to be enough.
Yeah.
And they're never going to stop complaining.
Wow,
they're stuck in their own.
Very enlightening. I appreciate that, Chad. And I'm sure there's even more to this story that neither you nor I know, because we weren't around back then, nor were these people, and they're not honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Bad things happen, but it's like a not all, but some type of situation.
Yeah. And nobody's suffering today. Your primary suffering in your life is generally of your own making or of those around you.
Oh my God, there's quotas to fill in government jobs in every industry. There's quotas to fill with. They want to fill with these Indians, and the problem is that these Indians don't want to work to get to there. Like, these jobs are open, waiting for them.
Yeah,
like, we need to hire X% of natives, and please sign up. But they'd rather just stay home and collect a welfare check. It's absolutely sickening, and I try my best to not be upset by it, but sometimes it's hard.
Yeah. Whew. Well, man, you doing JLP's silent prayer?
No.
No?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. I
no wonder you're trying your best not to be upset, but it's still hard.
Yeah, I'm trying, brother. I'll do my best to try harder, but I'm telling you right now, no, I don't.
Okay. Well, you do you, man. It's good to hear from you, though, Chad. Appreciate it. Call again.
All right. Take care.
You as well.
And I'll talk to you.
Have a great weekend. Bye. Let me try back with David in England. He was not quite ready, but David, are you there?
Yeah, hi. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, and I'm glad you've got that shirt on, that Christopher Columbus was a hero shirt.
Nice. Shout out to real Vincent James.
Do you think that there's any hope for the future?
Period. Yes. Hope for the future. There's always hope. I don't know if it's for the future, but there is always hope. Especially with God, there is hope. Without God, there is no hope.
Yeah, certainly. Do you think there's hope societally for the future? Meaning that do you think people are going to stop believing the children of the lie and start believing the truth? Because it seems like everyone's heading, especially people like, I think Chaz was saying, people who are native, indigenous sort of people, but also the black Africans, they're all believing in the children of the lie, and it seems like the world's headed in that direction.
Not all are believing. You don't look to the majority for hope. You don't look to the majority for signs of hope, put it that way. You look to the few. What? I think perhaps always there's going to be only a few. Even in the times when America was truly great, I bet you that, yes, the majority was not as off the deep end as it is today, but it was still evil and misguided. And so I suggest, although I don't know, I wasn't around that time or anything, but just knowing like how thinking I know how the world works. I think that the majority has always been evil. In the same way that Jesus said, how many of you, if your child would ask you for a stick, you would give him a snake, or a piece of bread, you would give him a stone. You, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children. How much more does God know how to give good gifts to those who ask him or whatever? But so he's calling even decent parents evil. And so I think most people are evil. And it seems like the evil people have gotten worse and worse. But we don't have to rely on our sight. We live by faith, not by sight, not by the world around us. Who are we to say that God can't turn society around? It's not up to us whether society turns around or not. We turn ourselves around, and that can be quite powerful in the world as an influence for what's right, a light to others. Jesus even called us. Go ahead.
Yeah, we just follow God and focus on doing God's will, and then from there, basically everything's going to be all right. But even if it's not, at least we'll be all right.
Right.
But you still think that hope, because even when America was a very great nation, there were still probably some bad people back then, and possibly even the majority.
Yeah.
So it could be that we are in the minority now, but we could still end up making such a change in terms of making the West and the world great again.
Yeah, because although, this worldly power stuff relies on democracy, mob rule, the majority rules and stuff like that, and the majority is evil, the mob is evil. But there's a power that, like a spiritual power that men have when they are really men, that you just look at them and they like kind of command respect and command attention, and people just follow them whether they want to or not. The mainstream media couldn't help but follow Trump. And that's not just because he was entertaining, but also because he told the hard, simple truth. By hard, I don't mean difficult. I mean when he told the truth, he told it solidly. And that is something that people can't help but love or hate, but pay attention, They have to pay attention.
Yeah.
They try to deplatform, they try to marginalize, but even when they marginalize these people, you'll still have people like Right Wing Watch promoting the stuff that they say. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's always hope, and it's not necessarily hope for society, but we're not ones to say that it's hopeless. I mean, people have said, "Oh, the world's not going to change." We change. But it's not even really our place to worry about society in that way.
Yeah.
Because we're not God.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just, Jesus said, we're the light of the world, the city on a hill. So let's be that.
Amen.
And not worry about society. I talk a lot of mess about society, but what we should be is like the light of it. And we can talk mess about it because it is a mess. Tell the truth about it.
Yeah.
But really, we should not be disheartened by how evil society is. It's to be expected. And expect them to come after you and lie about you and backstabbers and everything else.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So I wish you well in England, and praying for England, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you, James.
Yeah, great to talk with you. I appreciate that question. It's cool.
Yeah, best wishes to you.
All right. You too. Take care. That's cool. Shout out to the UK. I call you foreigners now because the foreign values, anti-white values, so-called values, anti-Christian values have overtaken your country and mine. But we love you, right? If I love anybody, I love the UK. Let me try Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, thank you for calling, man. How are you?
Good morning, James.
Morning.
So you were very happily reporting about the Black Invention Myths website yesterday, correct?
Yeah, blackinventionmyths.com. I was passing along information shared by Nicolas and Asmodor.
Yeah, well, anybody can put up a website. You know, in Germany, they say that Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz were the first ones to invent the automobile, a couple of years before Henry Ford. And in France, they say that there was a gentleman who did Franklin's kite experiment months before Franklin did it. So there are many folks can dispute
Right.
certain achievements, right?
Very true. Yep.
But the bigger point I wanted to make is that it's incredibly stupid to take pride or be, proud of achievements by other people who you believe share the same level of melanin that you do.
Yeah. Quite true.
You should be proud of what you do.
So take that, Tony.
Do.
Tony from California. He was trying to say such and such person invented the refrigerator truck.
Well, it's more speaking to Chris, who brought up Ford and Franklin. But Tony,
Chris?
it's not...
brought Ford and Franklin?
Yeah.
I brought up... Anyway, whatever. Go ahead.
But Tony, it's not Larry Latimer, it's Louis Latimer that helped Edison create the light bulb.
So you think that Chris... Well, let's allow Chris to come on here and talk with Joe. I think I enjoy it when you and Chris talk, Joe. You're accusing Chris of taking pride in all other dead whites' accomplishments rather than himself?
He brought up Ford and Franklin yesterday, yeah.
I don't remember that.
I think James...
That's why I used those two examples.
I didn't bring up Franklin, I'm certain of that. But I think James might have said Ford. I think what I said was... Because Tony had mentioned the refrigerator truck or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, well, a truck was certainly invented by a white man. I mean, car was invented by Mercedes-Benz, am I right?
According to the Germans, Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz.
Yeah, I mean, according to the Germans. I mean, it's pretty well documented. They're good engineers. Whatever you think about the Germans or whatever. But besides that, and then the refrigerator, I'm just assuming, you know what they say about assuming, but I would wager a large sum that a white guy invented that.
My bigger point there, Chris, is that no matter what inventor you come up with, there's somebody who's going to say, no, he didn't do it. This person did it.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. But, and I mean, I wasn't really doing what you were talking about. I was just combating Tony.
Yeah, if anything, Tony was the one doing it.
Well, Tony, I think he needs a lot of work in terms of bringing actual facts and documentation to the table instead of just spouting out.
Well, you criticize the false pride of taking of other people's accomplishments, right? Based on their level of melanin, as you put it. And now you're not saying the same thing about Tony right now.
No, I am.
Okay.
Absolutely am.
Okay.
Now,
I accept
switching
that.
gears to William. William called yesterday and said, you can't name a single black woman mayor that did a good job. Look up Mia Love. She was mayor of Salt Lake City in Utah. She's now in Congress. The only black woman. She did a very good job when she was mayor of Salt Lake.
She was.
And William again.
She was anti-Trump.
Mm-hmm.
She was anti-Trump. I don't like her.
Well, she was a Republican, and you and I disagree on Trump. I don't want to go down that road with you today. But what I will say is that, William, look up the gentrification of Harlem going on. There's so many white folks moving into Harlem right now that the prices are pricing out regular, average people. And for Pete's sake, William, just do a 10-second Google search of high net worth, low crime cities that are predominantly black, and you get a whole list. So, William, I know you paid me kind of a partial compliment, I say, about saying you enjoy my calls, but yes, I was joking when I said you were smoking pot yesterday because you weren't making any sense at all.
Oh, but he was okay. So William from California called in yesterday saying that black women leading cities and leading in political positions and going on to the Supreme Court has been a bad thing. Look at the women, single black women leading the homes has been a disaster for the black kids generation.
On that we can agree.
Yeah.
That we can agree. Single moms, especially single black moms, have been a disaster for the black family, yeah.
But this woman who, Ludmilla Love, born at Bordeaux, was a Haitian woman, born in New York City, to Haitian parents. And then she got elected
she got out to Utah.
Yeah, she got elected mayor of Saratoga Springs in 2010 in Utah. Was on the city council before, and she has 3 children. I don't know. She's 46 years old, so she's just got 6 years on me.
Was it Saratoga Springs or was it Salt Lake? I believe it was Salt Lake.
Maybe later she went into Salt Lake City. I don't know, but the point is, like, women don't belong in leadership positions really, and this woman wasn't. We liked her for a while, right? But she's a anti-Trump person. She's not a sensible Republican woman. She exposed herself as a rhino. And on top of that, like, she should.
Trump is not the Republican Party.
How old are her children?
I have no idea about her personal life. I'm just saying how well she did as mayor. She did a good job as mayor. I
mean, it's hard to not do it's hard to mess up Saratoga Springs, Utah. What are the demographics? I was about to say it's hard to mess up a white city that runs itself, you know?
Good one, James. Good one.
I'm being kind of serious, to be honest. Like, how hard was her job, Saratoga Springs?
I know you're being serious because I know your mentality. But again, I'll say it again. Trump is not the Republican Party.
Yes, he is the best. He's the brightest light in the Republican Party in decades, perhaps.
Well, we disagree on that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2024, who runs or if he runs.
You think women should be in leadership positions?
I don't think being a woman should automatically disqualify you. It's all about how well a job you do. I'll judge you on your performance.
And you're a Christian.
I am a Christian.
Would you sit under a woman pastor?
I have not, nor would I enjoy that now.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's so you have some sense that women in this leadership thing is a bad idea that people have been pushing, you know? And I have nothing against Mia Love personally, but this is a Haitian woman. It's not even like a normal black woman, you know?
You're normal.
I mean, she's a so-called conservative, and now she's on CNN. Or at least she was hired in 2019, probably because she was anti-Trump. But this is like a sensible, civilized daughter of 2 parents, you know? This is not the typical black mentality woman running the show like what we've criticized. So by and large, even if she did an okay job, which, whatever, okay. Even if she did an okay job, it doesn't disprove the larger point that William from California made, which is the same thing Jesse makes about putting women, black women especially, but women in any case, in these leadership positions.
James, again, black people are not a monolith. You can't tar all black women with the same brush.
That's why I called her not a normal black woman. By normal, I mean not typical.
I mean, listen, I have a biracial daughter, and she's brilliant and smart and capable and all these wonderful qualities. And if she wanted to run for mayor one day, she got my full support, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't advise her to, be humble and stay in the home and be happy rather than pursue all of this playing man type of stuff?
If that's what she wanted to do, I support her or whatever she wants. She's an incredibly smart, brilliant, kind, capable, talented person. So if she wants to do, It's my job as father to support her in her goals and dreams.
But that's not her goals and dreams. It's goals and dreams from Satan, you know? Satan gives you like look, there's all kinds of leaders who are misguided, who do not belong in office, even if they are capable at perpetrating evil. They have an evil agenda, and they think that they're for what's
like Putin, right.
They're misguided. Say it again?
Like Putin, right?
Well, I was going to say Obama. I don't know about Putin. Maybe Putin. I don't know. But yeah, I'm like Zelensky, say. He's so full of ego and just like he's propped up by the worst people. So anyway, like, God forbid your daughter turned like lesbian or something. Would you support her in that if she said, oh, this is my goals and dreams? I don't think you would support her in that.
With my daughter. That won't happen with my daughter. She's been raised that way.
Nice. And don't badmouth Tsar Putin.
Tsar Putin. That's pretty close. That's what he wants to be at.
And you're biracial too, right? Aren't you mixed?
So-called biracial. I have 30% English, Irish, Scottish DNA, yeah.
So you're like Joel.
Actually, and I've been told for 2% Scandinavian, which shocked me because you wouldn't notice that at all if you saw me.
So does that mean you gave away your DNA to the 23andMe New World Order?
Yeah, I know some say that, but I believe it's still pretty darn secure, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, it's really the least of people's worries, really. Anyway, man, I appreciate an interesting call, Joe.
Yep, have a good day, Jen.
You too. Bye. Whew. Before I get back to calls, I have Brian in California. He wants to talk about Will Smith. And speaking of Will Smith, let me play this last little bit. This is a clip 12. Shout out to your girlfriend. Oh, I have a lot of super chats to read as well. Your girlfriend gave me a couple of super chats about Will Smith slapping a reporter or alleged reporter. This was from, I think, back in 2012 after like Men in Black 3. Oh, gosh. Something like that. And he's out at a press, not photo shoot, just every, big crowd of people taking pictures, saying hi. It's like the red carpet or something. And he's in some other country, I want to say. I don't remember. Got this from Hip Hop Hollywood. Well, your girlfriend really shared it with me. At the Moscow premiere of Men in Black 3, a reporter showed Will a little too much love and tried to kiss him on the lips. Will was not having it and slapped the overzealous reporter right in the face. It was only a split second of anger. Then, in true movie star fashion, Will went on to the next outlet and was his fun, bubbly self again. But you'll see he slaps him kind of like backhanded, like a weird slap, and says, "What the heck, man?" But he doesn't say heck, and I didn't bleep it, so cover your ears, kids, because he says hell a couple of times. So enjoy Will Smith.
Oh my God! There you go.
Goofy trolley guy. Another view.
Come on, man. What the hell is your problem, buddy? All right. Hey, sorry. You said kiss me in my mouth. This joker, you lucky I ain't sucker punching. Oh, sorry. I said that on camera. Yeah, no, it's all good.
I will.
Hey, what's up, man?
What a mess, huh? So not the first time, but he didn't slap him hard. He didn't slap him as hard as he did the guy at the Oscars, Chris Rock. So that's, Will Smith is like, he's lucky I didn't sucker punch him. Oops, I said that on camera. Sorry. What a mess. Violent tendencies, says Chris. Yeah, true. Oh, man. Let me, in the last few minutes of this first hour here, get to Brian in California. He wants to talk about Will Smith, I guess. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Hake.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Going well.
Nice. Yeah, all right, so the whole Will Smith thing, it's funny, like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, just why are people even talking about it? That's what they want.
Are you on a speakerphone? Or are you on, where are you? Your phone is kind of cutting out and stuff. Come off.
I'm outside. I'm waiting for the bus. I'm on my way to work.
Come off a speakerphone.
Okay, hold on.
What in the world? Never, ever, but never, ever be on speakerphone when you're calling into a radio show. Okay, go ahead.
Last time I called it was on speakerphone. It was fine, but I don't know. I have a crappy phone. But,
We always tell people not to be on speakerphone, and your phone's still cutting out.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm in a bad service area.
It sounds like it.
Well, let me try to spit it out real quick.
Let me put you on hold, man. I'll try you after the break. I appreciate it, Brian from California. Let me read some super chats in the last couple of minutes here. Lots of super chats, guys. I appreciate it. Steven Absolution BL says, hey, bro. Thank you for continuing the good work. It was a blessing to behold Galaxy Brain and Lord Good Hair, that's Chris and Hake, do such an amazing job while Jesse was gone. Your music is based? More cowbell would make it based-er. Even more based. The men's conference is going to be awesome. Talk to you soon. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Stephen Absolution. And on behalf of Chris, we thank you. Thumbs up from Chris. Kyle B says on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, one thing you could have come back on Destiny with when he says conservatives don't care about the homeless is we have a $30 trillion debt, and as Americans, the homeless, among others, should be asking, what can I do for my country? $30 trillion already. Really? Is that what we have? My goodness. I remember it was like 10 under George W. Bush, and then Obama doubled it. And now I think Trump had to increase it to rebuild the military. And then now it's at 30? Ridiculous. Yeah, we're not, it's not our job to care for the homeless. They're supposed to care for themselves. They're too cared for. That's why they're enabled to be homeless. Thank you, Kyle B. Espert Bibby 42 with the super chat says Ronnie Perlman is the epitome of indoctrination. Yeah, this Ron Perlman, old guy, he's like in his 70s and saying, don't say gay. Read the First Amendment, read about it. Governor DeSantis. The epitome of indoctrination. Yeah, perfect example of that. The left calls it the Don't Say Gay bill. He ironically believes it without reading the bill while telling Governor DeSantis to read an amendment. Good point. Ronnie, as in Perlman, sounds like a liberal woman. Read about it, Ron. Yeah. Hellboy. Based America First with the super chat. Biden published chart showing U.S. energy exports imports to take credit for energy independence, which occurred between 2016 and 2020. Precipitous drop after 2020. Now Biden is drawing down strategic fuel reserve that Trump built up to offset bad policy. Wow, so under Trump we were energy independent and building up. And then, the communist shutdowns and overreaction to the China virus in 2020 took a big blow on what Trump had built. So evil. And now Biden is pretending like, oh, he built energy independence. Base America First says, not just an April Fool, but a year-round fool. Biden, that's Sleepy Joe, says people dissatisfied with fuel prices should just buy some solar panels and battery electric vehicles that we import from China. Makes one want to spit. Yeah, that's true. John WX25 says, dear Disney freaks and pedophiles, do us all a favor, pack your toys, quote-unquote toys, tofu, and get out of Florida and leave the poor gerbils behind so they can live out the rest of their poor little lives. Sick, nasty, no good parasites. Thank you, John WX25. If you're confused about the references, don't ask. Thank you, John WX25, who also says, Joe is actually right for once. Whites are moving into Harlem. Gay whites looking for new. And he doesn't finish the blank. And it doesn't sound like normal whites. Well, thank you, guys. Let me just double check over there on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com. Shout out to Odyssey. And the Facebook crew. It's at the top of the hour. I will get to more of your calls, guys, and some more things. Hair discrimination. read about it. No, don't. But it is time for some music. I want to share with you some more Six Organs of Admittance. Some of you are already fans. We're already listeners of Six Organs of Admittance. 2006 album on Drag City Records is titled The Sun Awakens. This is the number 6 track. I'm not going to play the 7th track because it's like 20-some minutes long, and I just don't have the patience for it. So that 7th track, you'll have to go listen to it for yourself. But this is the second to last track on this album, The Sun Awakens, Wolf's Pup. It's reminiscent of Torn by Wolves, the first track. So enjoy Wolf's Pup by Six Organs of Admittance, ya musical Philistines. Cover your ears, press mute, or grin and bear it, or go shovel snow. I'll be right back for hour 2. Hang tight. And we're back, guys. How much dead air was that? I got back and it was already over. My bad. I forgot to check the length. It is only a minute and 50-second song track. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Plantation music, I like it. Play that mess in private, Hake. Play the 27-minute track, says somebody. Where is that? Play this 27-minute one. Oh, just quiet the last 15 seconds. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Hake checks these tracks out from the public library. Is it me or is it a little warm in here? Can we turn on the AC? Think we can turn on the AC, guys? Please? Please? That'd be nice. Quick, another super chat here on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Actually, a couple. Jared says, while the whole world pays attention to actors acting, the real agenda continues to roll out. That Will Smith slap was really a slap on the head of people who are waking up. Now most of the world is hypnotized again. God have mercy on us. Hey, nice. Hey, James, we spoke on Wednesday, says Stephen UK. England is a mess, but Tommy Robinson is building a great movement of men, so he says. Hoping we can bring Britain back to its glory days. Keep up the great work, my friend. Thank you, Stephen in UK. I appreciate it. And whatever happens with Tommy, you stay with what's right. Nice. Thank you. That's cool. Pretty good. Sounds like Max Egan says ALJ Bug. Thank you. Let me. Oh, you know what? That caller he dropped. He was at that bus stop. His phone was kind of messed up. Both speaker and regular phone. It was messed up. He disconnected. get a good signal from him. So we'll have to try again another time, Guy. Let me quickly get to Alan, though, in California. Alan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Hake. How about you?
Doing fine, thank you.
I wanted to bring up geoengineering. I wanted to see if you ever heard of that.
I feel like I've heard of geoengineering. What is it, though?
For conspiracy theorists, we usually call it chemtrails.
Oh, okay.
The official word is geoengineering. And there's a website called geoengineering.com.
Don't be plugging websites. Don't be plugging websites, man.
My bad, man. My bad.
I accept.
Could you ever get a guy named Dane Wigington onto your show?
Don't be sending me
for an interview.
Send me tips on like in private, man. Don't be plugging people.
All right. But yeah,
So, no,
have you
I'm not
ever
gonna
heard
have
of
that guy on.
geoengineering?
What's that?
Have you ever heard of geoengineering?
I feel like I have heard of it. I just didn't realize climate engineering, or commonly geoengineering. So it's on Wikipedia. It's not just for the conspiracy theorists. This term, deliberate large-scale intervention in the Earth's climate system. Main category is solar engineering or solar radiation management. And I think go ahead.
So if you think about like climate change and all that type of stuff, the left just says, it's you and me, we're causing climate change. The right says climate change doesn't exist. But I think there's a third option where it definitely is real, and it's caused by geoengineering. They've been like terraforming our planet. I don't know like the super right terms or whatever for it, but I think that's what they've been doing with us. They've been causing like artificial droughts, controlling the weather, manipulating all kinds of different stuff. But there's tons of patents on it if you ever take a chance to look.
Okay, it's quite interesting. You know how they try to make us change our cars and stuff like that, and we've done stuff to our cars, or I should say the car manufacturers have added things like, what isn't the catalytic converter making the air actually like cleaner rather than polluting it? Because at one point, LA and everything else, other cities were extremely smoggy at during in the mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and it was kind of bad for you, and you would, after a time of playing basketball outside in the summer around 2 or 3 p.m. or whatever, you are breathing in this air, and then you try to breathe deeply, and you're just like it would be like I don't know what it did, but it was crazy. I remember being smogged.
Live, bro.
But now the cars aren't that bad, but they are trying to go to like electric cars because less pollution or something like that. But I don't know if that's true. And anyway, somebody was pointing out to me, I forget who it was, that these these tankers, these big ships that don't sail, they travel across the ocean. They have the dirtiest fuel that they burn, and they're out for days and all that stuff. They're probably more polluting than all the cars in a city combined, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't talk about that. Where's the solar-powered container ships, And we're shipping stuff in from China. So I think that these people are very selective, kind of like with white on black alleged crime. They're very selective on the crime that they report. They don't talk about black on black crime. Very little lip service, because it's basically not news anymore, and they don't care about the blacks. And they want them desperate and suffering so that they can say, oh, you're suffering, you're in a crisis, let us help you. And so I think that they are very selective in what they're reporting about the so-called climate change and what's causing it and all that stuff. And they don't know, I say.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's in the future, just so you know, I get it. A lot of people aren't aware and they're just willy-nilly. But send me any tips and guest requests by private message or email or whatever, or even in the comment section. I don't mind. But on air, I just don't like to. We like to have discipline and not plugging stuff or name dropping stuff unless it's a former guest of mine, you know, or whatever. So.
Well, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
That? Well, the way I'm looking at it is if we do plug certain things, it leads people to the truth, and we shouldn't be trying to suppress truth.
That's for your show, not my show. I'm suppressing the so-called truth because I don't know. I don't know what truth you think you're plugging, man. You could be a nutcase for all I know.
Very open-minded. Yeah, I think you're open-minded, but
yeah, I'm open-minded, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, so don't try to argue with me about how I'm running my show. But no, you're fine. You're fine asking that question. But I accept what I accept what you're saying, and I reject it too. I have considered your suggestion, and I have rejected it. But you're welcome to call in anytime, man.
Yeah, listen every day, buddy.
Nice. I appreciate that, Alan. Are you from SoCal or NorCal, if you don't mind my asking?
Middle Cal.
Okay, right on.
I don't even know.
Have you ever been to the Straight Pride thing that we've participated in?
I'd be down to do that.
Yeah.
But no, I have not.
I think late this August, either before or after the men's conference, we're scheduled, I think, to participate in the third or I think the fourth annual Straight Pride event up in Modesto, California. We'll be protesting, I think, outside of Planned Parenthood. It's going to be a great time, putting out the truth. And yeah. Well, cool, man.
What do you think about pride goes before destruction?
I know. Yeah, but that's not the kind of pride that we're pushing. Straight pride,
okay,
you know?
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're pushing sensibility and decency.
Definitely. I get that from the show.
Nice, man.
I can see that. All right.
Right on.
Thanks for taking my question. Sorry about the mishap.
Don't even mention it. No need to apologize. You didn't know.
Never happened.
I accept.
All right. Thanks, Hake.
All right.
You have a great one, bro.
You too.
Great.
Bye. Since we're on this topic, let me get to Jared in Missouri. Jared, you're on the line. How are you doing?
How you doing, James?
Fine, sir.
I got a little there for a second.
Oh, man, you're cutting in and out. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Stay close to your phone. Don't move around. But your signal may be kind of spotty, so I may have to put you on hold.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so what he was saying about the geoengineering, that is true.
That's I mean, it's in Wikipedia, so I know it's true.
Yeah, but the thing about it that's so frustrating is that 15 years ago, we were calling this stuff out and being told that we're seeing things. But now it's mainstream, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's true. So
I know.
my question is,
don't be frustrated. Go ahead.
My question is, why is it that it's only important when the mainstream points it out?
You know, there's a lack of credibility when it's a lone person in the desert saying it, because that lone person in the desert could be telling the truth. You know, I'm saying it in an extreme way, right? The lone voice in the desert calling out could be a nutcase, or it could be someone actually telling the truth, but it's just hard to know. People don't know, and then the mainstream it lends more quote unquote credibility, worldly credibility to it. Then it seems more important and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, I have my point or my view on that would be the lone voice throughout history has been proven to be the voice that means the most if you really look at certain individuals. And, you know, we have the Spirit of God, so I don't understand everybody's...
You're cutting out, man. The feds are messing with your signal.
All right. You know, that might be true.
We have the Spirit of God what?
The Spirit of God leads us to all truth. So if we have the Spirit of God, we can recognize truth.
You have the Spirit of God?
I do.
How do you know?
I know because my life is completely different than when I didn't have His Spirit. Completely. My mind, my heart, everything.
A lot of people say that, though.
Yeah, but I don't doubt it.
A lot of people don't doubt it.
Well, I'm not a lot of people. I'm me.
Yeah. All right.
You know, and so when I research and when I look into what truth may be, I look to God and I say, God, you know, I need direction on truth, and I trust him to do that because he's God. So if we all do that, we'll all be led into truth because God cannot lie.
And so you think God is leading you to the truth about geoengineering?
Well, maybe in that specific, but in the broader sense, yeah, all truth.
But he doesn't need you to know everything that's going on in the world.
Oh, but he measures out faith for everyone. So my measure of faith is different than your measure of faith.
Different from. It's not different than.
Well, it's different from, so I have a different measure. That's it. Nobody's better than anybody. We all have different roles to play in the body of Christ.
And so your role is to push out this geoengineering truth?
No, that's just the one subject we were talking about. There's so much more going on in the world than people realize.
True.
People are so comfortable and focused on entertainment that they don't even see what's actually happening.
I know, but people get caught up in this so-called truth movement, and they're not looking within. They're just looking at learning facts about what's going on in the world, the secret things. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
You can't find, in my opinion, you can't find truth unless you look within first. Because if you don't look within first, you're not even going to be able to recognize truth.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I'm just saying that these things are important. They are important, and people want to dismiss them, but they won't dismiss them when it's knocking on the door. So,
you sound like the climate change pushers. This climate change is knocking on our door. We're already suffering the effects. You know?
Yeah, but the climate change pushers are the ones creating the climate change using technology. I mean, they're liars. I'm telling you my truthful intention to help people. So whether people believe it or not, I couldn't care less.
Why do they need to know about it? What can they do?
Well, okay, so it's like you walk into a dark room and you flip the light on, you can see. It's that concept. If you're completely ignorant, 100% ignorant of what's actually going on, you're standing in a dark room trying to navigate a room that you can't see in.
But you didn't answer my question. Why do they need to know what's going on with geoengineering, for example? What can they do about it?
Well, geoengineering is just one little facet of so many things. So I don't know if they really need to know that.
Right.
But if you research history, if you research things without letting people tell you what it is, if you do it yourself, then God will guide you by his Spirit, and you will know things that other people don't know because you actually did your due diligence.
So God won't guide you unless you research?
Well, I mean, you have to start researching something that you're trying to figure out, don't you? I mean, I'm not saying God ain't going to guide you in life.
Is God guiding you to try to figure out so that you know what to research? Because there's so much different information to look into. So.
Well, yeah. Well, I see what you're getting at. Well, the Bible lays it out pretty clear, the timeline God set up, and God doesn't lie. So I'm not going to say the Bible is the Word of God because Jesus is the Word of God. But God did give us text full of prophecy to tell us all through man's history what was going to take place. And I'll tell you what, it's 100% correct. In fact, we're in the last time right now. It's all in the Bible. But people have this weird stigma with the Bible because they think it's the Word of God instead of realizing Jesus is the Word of God. That is just inspirational text given by the Spirit through men throughout history. So it's all together, but we want to discount important parts of Christianity because of our feelings. You know what I mean?
I don't follow, but I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is geoengineering is just one thing. There's so much going on, and personally, whether this is for everyone or not, I don't know, but personally, I'd rather know what's happening around me than be ignorant.
Okay.
And God said himself, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Oh, come on. You sound like an Israelite.
What?
You're just, oh, man. That's not the kind of knowledge he's talking about.
Yeah, he's talking about all knowledge.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Well, what's he talking about, James?
He's not talking about all knowledge that you're going to be destroyed for not knowing about geoengineering.
That's not what I said. See, you're twisting my words. I'm just asking you, what is he talking about by knowledge then?
I don't know, but he's not talking about that. He didn't say all knowledge, first of all. He said destroyed for lack of knowledge. But that doesn't mean you go into get all into knowledge, right?
No, of course not. He said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And
it didn't say lack of all knowledge. You don't need to seek after all knowledge.
I didn't say all knowledge.
Yeah, you did. You literally said all knowledge, man.
No, I didn't. My first thing I said was, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And
right. And I said what knowledge, and you said all knowledge.
Well, yeah. Knowledge is all knowledge. The word knowledge means knowledge. That's all I'm saying, James. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying that you told me I'm wrong. And
when did I tell you you're wrong? About what?
You said, no, that's not what he's talking about. That's not the knowledge.
Yeah, because you said all knowledge.
I know. My question to you, James,
yeah.
If you can tell me I'm wrong, that means you have the right answer.
No, it doesn't.
So,
no, it does not mean that I have the right answer. I can know you're wrong without knowing what the right answer is.
All right, man. Well, I'm just...
Can I not know that you're wrong without knowing what the right answer is?
Well, that doesn't really make any sense.
It makes a ton of sense.
Right answer.
In fact, very often you will come to the right answer by process of elimination. If I can pick out that there's something wrong with what you're saying, it doesn't mean I know what the right answer is. I just know there's something wrong with what you're saying.
Okay, well, could that not be
Because you sound just like the
on...
Black Hebrew Israelites who are all into this knowledge stuff.
No, man. I'm just trying to warn people about how devastating things are about to get, James.
Okay.
Everybody, wants to play it off like, we're all going to be saved. Well, if you get saved, it ain't going to be the way you think. It's going to be by the wrong people. Because this stuff is all organized, man. This is called a military endeavor happening worldwide right now with COVID, with the war in Ukraine, all of it. It's all planned. It's all orchestrated. And it's all put out on mainstream media so that the sleeping masses are brainwashed and follow whatever agenda or narrative their team is telling them to follow.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying because a lot of facts to what you're saying because this is what I'm going to be debating about the Great Reset. They are pushing a lot of that mess. They're swooping in to save us, and it's not the right saving. But man, I think you're on a weird kick, and I don't think that you know what you think you know.
Well, you may be right about that, and I'm not going to argue, about that. I just want people to at least pay attention to what's happening.
Asmodor has a super chat for you before I let you go. What does the caller think is more important, chemtrails or open borders?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my goodness.
So you think that it's you think that's a difficult answer?
No.
You're cutting out. Which one is more important, chemtrails or open borders? Oh man, we're not getting his answer. He's like completely out in the woods, and we can't understand him. Jared, Jared in Missouri.
Hello.
Yeah, chemtrails or open borders, real fast.
All right, open borders is worse, man, because it's really a way to just bring in new peoples to control and govern.
Yeah, it's totally true. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. Your phone was really messed up there.
I know, man. I'm sorry, Jared.
Call me another time. Take care.
Definitely.
All right. Bye. Interesting. Fun call. Lord Bibby42 with a super chat says, best of luck in your little debate tonight, Hake. And happy birthday, Holmes. James Hake's birthday celebration, it rages on, dudes. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It is my birthday, or it was anyway, back in July. And we're in April, May, June, July. Oh, gosh, it's coming right up again. So I'm 40 years old. I'm barely going to get used to being 40 by the time I'm 41. if I make it. Lord willing. Jared is based, says Steve O. Soprano. Yeah, shout out to the those people, whatever you want to call yourselves, the truther community or truther people. Let's see. Before I get back to calls, Rick in Maine, coming to you next, sir. Let me tell you about this alopecia woman, Ayanna Pressley, another black female with a bald head. Go on up, bald head, is what the kids said to Elijah or Elisha. And then they got torn apart by bears or lions or something because they insulted the prophet of God. Nice. It's in the Old Testament. Go on up, bald head. Well, this representative, so-called representative out of Boston area, I guess, Washington Compost. This is a 4-minute clip. I'm probably going to ask you to cut it short. She breaks up almost as much as Jared from Missouri. This is Washington Compost feature. They had a live live interview on Twitter or whatever. Representative Ayanna Pressley, black female Democrat from Massachusetts, joins Post Live with another black woman on the Washington Compost to push for federal legislation banning hair-related discrimination. She also talks about her personal journey living with alopecia, and the conversation spurred by the recent Academy Awards. And so they're talking about Will Smith's slap of Chris Rock after Chris Rock joked that Will Smith's wife looked like she was ready to play on G.I. Jane 2. That's when the white woman shaved her head and played like a tough soldier. So listen to this mess. I'll try to explain what's going on, too, because they're promoting this agenda thing. So I'll read it as we play it. Go ahead. Race in America. Hair discrimination. Ayanna Pressley is one of the co-sponsors of the Clown Act, recently passed in the House, with her bald head. If enacted, the measure would ban discrimination against individuals based on how they choose to wear their hair.
For those sisters and thousands of other students who face discrimination based on their hair, the Clown Act is for you. For recent graduates who fear they must change their hair or cut their locks to secure a job, the Clown Act is for you. For our elders who have faced and fought this racism for generations, the Clown Act is for you.
What was she wearing? More like the Clown Act. Pressley, the first black woman to represent something. Publicly shared she has alopecia in 2020, autoimmune condition.
I'm ready
hair
now
loss.
because I want to be freed from the secret and the shame that secret carries with it. And because I'm not here just to occupy space, I'm here to create it.
Sick.
And
misguided.
I want to be free.
Ayanna Pressley. Yikes.
Hello, and welcome to Washington Post Live. I'm Robin Gavon, Senior Critic at Large. Today, we're continuing our Race in America series with Democratic Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. And I'd also like to invite our audience to join the conversation. You can tweet your comments and questions to the handle Post Live. Welcome, Congresswoman.
Hi, Robin. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to start, we have lots to get to, but I'd like to start with sort of the elephant in the room, which is the aftermath of the Oscars. And you had tweeted right after and then deleted, Alopecia Nation, stand up. Thank you, Will Smith. Shout out to all the husbands who defend their wives living with alopecia in the face of daily ignorance and insults. And then you later deleted that and tweeted that you don't condone violence. But that initial tweet, though, was clearly one that was steeped with emotion. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the emotion that sparked that first tweet and what that really sort of was stirring up for you?
Man, she doesn't look
Robin,
right.
it was visceral response.
Visceral
A
response.
visceral response situation for a spouse and other ones who know the very
Oh, I think she says that
pain of
buzzword
living,
here.
in particular for women, in particular
Bear
for
with
Black
me, guys.
women. I don't condone form. I've used my platform to
Cutting out like
promote
crazy.
healing and forms of violence and forms,
I think she says
which is why I
misogynoir.
deleted, because I was fearful of taking it out of context. I do want to say, Alopecia revealed a moment ago. I realized that I've been freed of the secret, still not free of shame.
What?
This is not an easy. Black women have had our hair and our bodies released for generations. And as women,
What?
why the journey was so upsetting.
Jesse
There's
would
a lot
not
to
put up with
unpack.
this.
Ableism, racism, misogynoir.
Misogynoir.
Is
There
that
it
our
was.
body?
Ah. Okay, let's cut this out. I started to get text messages too, by the way. Those text message alerts were mine. It was not the Washington Compost getting text messages. How is... What a mess, huh? Misogynoir. I guess that means hatred of black females specifically, not just hatred of females. What a phony idea, huh? She's all alopecia nation. It takes a real man to be with an alopecia woman. What a sicko. Big Bump calls her the anti-white milk dud. And there was this black woman who was hosting this thing. What a sick woman. Misguided. Bad connection. JLP would not put up with that lack of professionalism and the inability to understand what the heck she was talking about. JLP would have interrupted you. Hold on. We're not doing this. You get your stuff right. But, you know, those blacks at Washington Compost, I guess they just put up with it. Boomer tech. No, we love boomers. Talking about black victimhood. Right? Sick. Anyway, let me get to some calls, guys. I had to share that with you. It's just phony. By the way, did you see her outfit when she was speaking on the floor of Congress, putting out this bill? That's why I said it's not the Crown Act, it's the Clown Act, because she looked like she's making a mockery of America. Have some respect. Yeah. Clown Galaxy. She looked like Lex Luthor, except black and female. Awful. Lex Luthor's bald. He's the bad guy from Superman. Anyway, let me get to Rick in Maine. He's on the line about electric cars. What's up, Rick? How are you doing?
Hi, buddy. We're doing okay. I got a cure for her alopecia. I'll get to my point.
Okay.
Every 6 months or so, I'll grow my hair out, and when I have it cut, it's donated to the American Cancer Society.
Oh, that's kind of you.
For them to make wigs out of, so they don't have to worry about bald head. So maybe you can take some of my hair, Congresswoman.
That's very generous.
And you just may end up wearing some of it. Outstanding, James. Outstanding.
That's funny.
I gotta have a crotch to lean on, you know.
Right. Stay close to your phone so you come through loud and clear.
Okay, how's that, bud?
It's coming in okay. It's a touch quiet for my taste, but go ahead. Let's do this. Let's try it.
Okay. I'll speak up a little bit because this truck is noisy and I am rolling. So
nice.
The electric cars.
Electric cars.
Brilliant idea. But here's the two setbacks. Major setbacks.
Oh man, your connection is almost as bad as Ayanna Pressley's.
Ayanna Pressley, yes.
Major setbacks.
Major setbacks for electronic cars or electric cars.
Okay.
Number one, is powering these cars of batteries that have to be made with specialized materials. So when they wear out, who's going to be responsible for disposal of those batteries when they're replaced? I'll give you 3 guesses. The first 2 don't count. It's the owner of the vehicle.
Huh.
They have to pay for it. And here's a second setback for that deal. How much are you going to pay for that thing?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a small fortune to replace that battery.
Right.
And then pay for its disposal.
Unless
let alone the fact that they've got to tear the vehicle half apart to replace it. That's some labor charges for you. Go ahead, buy your electric vehicle. You'll see.
There was a Kentucky congressman, I'm blanking on his name, Massey, I think his name, Massie, who's powering his home with a Tesla Model S battery, and he's using it to power his home. So there are engineer types who can make these batteries work for them. But you're right,
yeah.
it's a mess. It's dangerous. There's all kinds of unexpected or unconsidered side, collateral damage, for lack of a better word. With anything that you do, you're causing other problems by solving one. Fake solving
there
one.
Has to be specialized areas on this planet that you can dispose of those batteries as well. They are not a recyclable item.
Yeah. True.
So have fun with your electric cars, people. It'll get you in the wallet and at the end of the line. Have a nice day, James.
Thank
Good to
you,
talk
Rick.
with you, buddy.
You too.
All right, bud.
Take care. Have a nice weekend. Let me get to Bobby in Texas. He wants to talk about the Great Reset, which I'm going to be talking about this evening. How are you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing well, James. How are you doing?
Fine, sir. Go ahead.
So, first off, I want to ask, our national debt, who do we owe that to?
I don't know. I don't know who all are we are indebted to. Whom?
Right. Okay, so 40% is owed to foreign, interest groups, foreign countries, things like that. In 1960, the United States national debt was, I believe, 285 billion.
Okay. Wow.
And then even as recently as I think 2019, it was at 20 trillion.
Yeah.
So it's gone up 13 trillion in 3 years.
Yep.
So in I forget the year exactly, but Nixon took us off of the gold standard and put us on whatever you would call our standard now.
All right.
And
Nixon did that,
Right.
Was he a good president by and large?
I don't know. It's debatable, I guess. I would say that was a pretty catastrophic mistake.
Switching to fiat currency?
Right. Because, that basically put us in the pocket of, the Federal Reserve, and, they just, are able to sell more currency, print, and decide and make it legal currency to sell back to America at an interest rate. So...
You said 40% of our debt is owed to foreign interests. What's the other 60%?
Pension plans.
Oh, gosh.
Individual businesses, mutual funds, state and local governments.
Wow. Okay.
And then there's 40% is owed to foreign entities. So those could be, lots of different. Those could be what is that company, BlackRock? They could possibly
buy some of our debt, huh? Something like that.
Right. And China, I believe, has a pretty large stake, has a pretty good chunk of it.
Wow.
So with that, though, without going from being pretty low, it's a pretty affordable debt of $283 billion.
That sounds like a lot, especially for back then, though.
Yeah, but when you compare it to 33 trillion, I don't know. I would still think it's
how much. Yeah, how much
manageable.
does that mean? I mean, I just don't have any concept.
We'd have to look and see how much America makes on a year. Like, what's our surplus? What do we make? Which is a lot. Like, most of our states produce more than most countries of the world. So I would say America produces a pretty large number of its own finance.
Yeah,
could be better if we had a decent administrations that were giving us manufacturing and things like that. We're being propped up in America, rather than paying to have that stuff from another country and boosting there.
Does this all have something to do with the Great Reset?
Yeah, I was kind of getting there. So those companies that are like basically controlling the money of the world, those are the people that are like involved in the Great Reset, that are wanting to like take over basically everything that we have in our, in our day-to-day, like owning all the property, owning basically all the services that you take in, and then they'll rent those services back to the people at a premium.
Oh.
So that you won't. And I mean, there's books written by these people. I don't even know where this lady's gonna like come from. Like, how is she even gonna argue the fact that it doesn't exist? I mean, there's literally books by these people.
We'll see
about the subject.
Well, yeah.
Like Charles Schwab's written the book, The Great Reset, and there's plenty of like evidence of their talks and their speeches where they're talking about you will own nothing and be happy about it.
Right.
And it's like, so people will just be able to rent whatever they want
from these companies.
Yeah, from these trillion-dollar companies. Like, for example, BlackRock is owning all these. They're buying and owning all these properties and paying top dollar for them. They're not overpaying for these houses for a reason. They're not doing it so that they can go broke. Like, there's obviously an agenda and a plan in mind to buy these houses for higher than market value.
Right. Interesting.
And that's, I would say, and they have, what is it, like $7 trillion worth of, holdings in the United States.
Yeah.
And I mean, that number is only going to grow the more they can acquire and the more they can take in.
And these companies are not for what's right. They push the gay agenda. They push the Black Lives Matter agenda. They jump onto anything to control the people by way of their own evil, selfish, misguided desires and false beliefs.
And I think we are fooling ourselves to call it that they're like into it. I think that they're just like, they don't care. They just say whatever they think people want to hear to control the people. Like, they don't care. Like, they care less
I
about.
think they do care. I think they care because they're against what's right specifically. It's not like these things are random. Like, oh, they're for some good things and for some evil things. No, everything that they're for is evil, I think.
I mean, you're right there, but I don't think that literally. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the actual. I mean, just the fact that they're right, wrong. I think they're pretty I would say indifferent to whatever. Like, they're just like, people are behind this.
They'll jump on anything that's trendy and exploit it and push it, and for a false sense of legitimacy. Because that is one thing that I noticed with this World Economic Forum. Like, they're just touting all these big companies that support them and talking about, oh, we are experts and we need to bring on more experts.
I would suggest, too, before you enter your debate today, spend about 5 minutes or so, watch that video of I believe he's like the second to Klaus Schwab, and he's like giving a speech based on he's kind of breaking it down, like, all right, it's like he's saying the quiet part out loud. But
send it to me if you
short video.
If you have it handy, send it to me. The Hake Report at gmail.com, or I don't know if you're on Twitter or whatever, but tag me or something.
Yeah, I think I have your wrong email. I've been sending it to the wrong place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Hake Report at gmail.com is my contact.
Okay, yeah, I'll look for it and send it to you here pretty quick. But I would advise, if I don't get it to you, just to kind of look for it. It's not hard to find.
Okay.
But it's just a quick video, and he's like kind of breaking it down, like saying the quiet part out loud, where you can kind of get an idea of what they're really pushing, what they want.
Okay. Cool, man.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time, bud. Have a good one.
You as
Good
well,
luck
Bobby.
in your debate.
Appreciate that. Nice. It's funny. We may be two ignorant people debating about the Great Reset. I don't know how much Stardust knows. It's funny, but it's gonna be. I think should be pretty fun. We'll get to start to talk about some basic issues, some root issues, if you will, maybe. That's my idea for it anyway. Your girlfriend with a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. The Fed prints money, and we have to pay back with interest. When we inevitably can't pay back, they consolidate our debt into bonds, which foreign countries can then put their bids in to buy. The Fed auctions off our debt. This is my basic understanding. Yeah, so fiat currency is basically debt currency. What a mess, huh? Is that true? Mind-boggling. Those clever snakes. They know how to manipulate money. Is this what they called usury? Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Lin Yan Chen with a couple of super chats states, we are destroyed where know thyself as the image of God is not our aim. So that's how he interprets the lack of knowledge. Know thyself as the image of God. People are destroyed in fixation with knowledge is power. Yeah, it's what you hear the world say. Knowledge is power. As they say in their heart, I am my master. I am my God. Mama's hunt for knowledge is vanity, insecurity of playing God. That's deep, Lin Yan Chen, I think. I know a lot of you guys have no patience for Lin Yan Chen. He says, know thyself is living sense. It is sapience, not mere knowledge, aka information. Information as your master is formation of Satan's nation. The impulse to know will never be satisfied until you look within to see the heart of all, the light of God. Yeah, I know. Some people get so obsessive. So interesting. Interesting point, man. I mean, I think. Right? Stephen UK responds to me after I responded to him in his super chat about England's a mess. And he mentioned Tommy Robinson in that prior super chat, building a great movement of men. And I'm like, whatever Tommy does, you do. You keep your eyes on yourself. Do right, right? Hopefully we can bring Britain back to its glory days. He said, keep up the great work, my friend. And so I said, do right. Exactly, he says. Stephen UK in Streamlabs. We will be doing it in the right way in Britain. We need to win the hearts and minds and vote them out, meaning the evil people. Ordinary people have been too lazy for too long, and it's time to get involved on every level of government. Okay, man. All right. Let me quickly cover this story. Oh, you know what? Do you have this woman kidnapped headline? I just wanted to mention this. Very brief. I haven't even really looked into this story, but it's just kind of a shocking story just to remind you to be careful out there. This woman was kidnapped from a Walmart parking lot, and she was found dead. I saw this on Fox News the other day, and I don't know where this was or anything, but it was covered also in News Nation. It caught my eye. News Nation, I was a subscriber to News Nation, I guess because Leland Vittert interviewed JLP at one point on that channel. And this News Nation report says, woman abducted in a Nevada parking lot, Walmart parking lot, found dead, 18 years old, Naomi Irion. Her remains were located, so said investigators. And I don't know anything about what the circumstances were, but it's a pretty young girl, 18-year-old young lady, right? Dead. 18. I think it was 18. Yeah, I must have clicked into it and seen that it was an 18-year-old woman. But, evil in the world. Be alert. Be alert. Because it's crazy. It's a crazy world right now. Watch out. Watch out. So I just wanted to share that. Just a side note. And one quick other story. They're pushing this women and minorities thing. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim reported this week, earlier in the week, the far-left NFL, Enemies of America, NFL announced that all 32 teams must hire a female or member of an ethnic or racial minority as an offensive assistant. Offensive is right, but they are talking about offensive like in terms of the offense for playing football. But it's offensive to me. For the 2022 season, the league says head coaches typically start out in offense roles and hopes the requirement will provide women and minorities with more opportunities in higher positions. There are currently only 5 minority head coaches in the league. What a mess, huh? More affirmative action. So dumb. Ridiculous. And, you know, the Ayanna woman complained about racism and misogynoir. Hatred of the black woman, I guess. So sick. Let me get to Alexander in California. What's up, Alexander?
Not bad, James. I bet you found my call very interesting, the topic. I am starting my own version of Judaism, just as Jesse started his own version of Christianity.
No, he didn't.
He started Bond.
That's not a version of Christianity. What the heck?
Okay, then I'm starting it like Martin Luther did.
Okay, so your protest, Martin Luther was a Protestant, right? He protested.
Right.
He's a.
I don't mean to piss you off, James. I just figured I'd name.
Whoa! Don't say that. Don't say that word. Sorry, kids.
I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. It just came out of my mouth. Sorry.
So you're okay. Nice. What's your brand of Judaism?
Okay, I call it Judaism. You want me to try to spell it out for you what it is?
Just the very surface basics.
Okay, anyway, like I agree with John 2. It's a Judaism for Jesus Judaism. So I agree with John 3 saying that the Bible can be summed up into the 2 commandments: love one's neighbor as they love themselves, and love God with all their heart. Those are the 2 most important commandments. As far as these go, it's also an anti-racist version. These, I believe, race is biological, but I believe that appearance is more important than DNA. Some argue DNA tests are questionable at times. And Dr. William Lane Craig, and I shouldn't bring up his name, but people have proven that there is such thing as Jesus, that he was divine. Even the mimetic theory mimetic theory.
So you're a messianic. You're going to be a messianic Jew, or you are a messianic Jew, meaning you believe in Jesus.
Well, I suppose so. It's a Jew for Jesus, and yes, and then I'll get to the other bare bones of it. You only want the bare bones. I'm going to try to sum it up for you. Sam Harris is right that science can answer more questions, but wrong on specifics, including but not limited to God, race, economic framework, etc. Nowhere in Christianity, Judaism does it say don't believe in the simulation theory. The same arguments for simulation theory can believe there is God. Therefore, God and Christ are both proven. And hate and anger are unacceptable. All hate and anger are unacceptable. There you have it. This is an anti-racist movement by me. So, Jews are not responsible for the decline of the racial European population anyway. Okay, as far as 3 goes, then we have this one. Racial Europeans suffer from white fragility. Symptoms are a lack of gratitude for white privilege, and they can show their gratitude by accepting their racial identity. They got to accept what they are. And then 7, the world and every other race are better off when they are grateful for their white privilege of racial Europeans, and they should show gratitude by accepting their identity. And when they don't, that's when systemic racism arises. And Sam Harris does not have the framework economically, but does have to an extent the correct result. Sam Harris does. And then we get into...
Why do you keep mentioning Sam Harris, man?
Because I think he's right about a lot of... I think science pretty much is the Bible, then. He's like, you guys kind of believe that, too. You guys believe, look at what science tells, and then that's what the Bible is.
Oh.
And I believe everyone kind of knows who he's like leading atheist right now. But he's right that science can answer more questions, but he's wrong on specifics, like I've said. And a force should take care of the people despite their actions because they don't have free will. But how could that force become sustainable? See Dr. Steven Pinker's Big Think video on rejecting libertarianism. I keep bringing that up to you guys. I've read that in like 2 calls so far. It's why there are no libertarian countries. It says so on the thumbnail and why it's a marginal
Man,
idea.
sometimes you talk
value.
fast. Sometimes you talk fast, and some of your words are sort of mumbled. So I'm not catching
sorry,
what you're
James.
saying. But I appreciate it, man. I got to run, but it sounds like a hodgepodge of truth and lies, like everything else, man. I don't think you should be doing. Do you want my advice?
I was going to say a few more things before you let me go.
No.
I'm sorry, James.
No problem. Do you want my advice?
Yes, dude. I didn't get to cover all of it, but like I like your advice.
Do you want my advice?
Yeah, James. Yeah, give it to me, please.
You seem to be trying to come up with all these different things, and it seems to be for like attention or something. And it's not good to be trying to invent all these different things or come up with all these different things and try to scream for attention.
Thank you for the advice.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish you well, man. Take care. Have a nice weekend. All right, Alexander. Have a good one. Bye. Keith in Illinois is on the line. Keith, we got like 2 minutes to go. How are you doing?
All right, buddy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, you know what? Hey, it's only 2 minutes. You usually let me talk. I really like you guys. I'll just call back Monday. I mean, I never used to call this late, and so I'll just call back Monday. You guys have a good weekend.
Okay. You don't want to throw in one little point?
Okay, one little one. I want to talk about how the liberals use the inner city blacks all the time to keep them in poverty and bondage, so that they don't vote and they get to vote in the Democrats. That's for the LGBT. Have you ever noticed that? San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, everywhere. The liberals, which are the gay, homosexual people, they don't give the blacks the jobs. They take away their vehicles if they get tickets. They make sure they stay in their own neighborhood and kill one another. They make sure of that. And when they come up in their neighborhood, then they just hire private security and they live in their, their little condominiums, and they educated, but they could care less about a black person as they do a dead cockroach. They just use them.
Yeah, they do use the blacks, and it's such a pretense of caring about them and caring for them. It is fake, that's for sure.
It is. Just to put their people in office so that their people can promote their homosexual agenda and keep their certain area, the certain gay areas just, perfect, while the blacks suffer and kill, rob, and steal from one another, and no jobs and poverty and crime.
Yeah.
That's why they put the Democrats in there, and they put these so-called leaders and entertainers right out front so they can shuck and jive and, put on some music and keep them right in that bond. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
The liberals are the worst enemy. Trust me.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it, Keith, in Illinois.
All right, you take care. Have a good weekend.
You as well, man. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. Guys, we are at the top of the hour, the end of the hour. There was this headline that's kind of sad about Bruce Willis. I don't know if it's sad, but I'm like emotional about it. Bruce Willis stepping away from acting because of a health condition that came out this week. Apparently, he's suffering from a brain degenerative disease that his daughter, I guess, went on IG and said that he's suffering from this aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive ability. Well, I'm praying for you, Bruce Willis. I don't know anything about him except for like that Christmas movie, Die Hard, and some other things. But anyway, guys, Rick in Hampton, Virginia, and the rest of the callers. Rick wanted to talk about Biden's ratings. I cannot get to you. The show is over. We're going to have The Fallen State, a new episode of The Fallen State today. Anchor Baby's new show called Nick Stream. Nick Stream at 4. The Hake Report on Modern Day Debate at 6. And, of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sunday. Always excellent. Thank you, guys, and take care.